What's going on, everyone? I just want to say, every single iPhone has problems, okay? Every single one out there. And I did a video not too long ago talking about which iPhone had the most amount of problems, and we pretty much narrowed it down to the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus series. So out of all those iPhones, the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus had the most issues according to what people were posting on forums. And I looked at Reddit specifically, and I just kind of went by that. I didn't really go on other forums, and I'm pretty sure they would say the same thing. But it seems like people were complaining about the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus the most, and issues really range from software to hardware. Now, I kind of took out the software problem, so some people might say like, oh, when I open this app, it crashes, this thing, that thing. I kind of let that slide. It was more so hardware problems, like phone's not charging, the cameras, they're doing this, my screen is unresponsive, this and that, the battery dies, things like that. I kind of put those into kind of a category of, that's pretty much what I mapped. And my question is like, why is the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus talked about the most in terms of the problems that it has? And I tried to research as much as I could, and I honestly can't find any direct reason why that's the case. Now, I have a theory, it's not really proven at all, but it could be because of the new design that it had. Now, you might be thinking, the iPhone 7, how did that have a new design and look like every other iPhone? But when you actually look at it and you look at the outside and the exterior, you can see that there's no headphone jack, there's a new home button, and things like that could possibly change the inside of the phones. Now, I did open my iPhone 7 and I compared it to the inside of maybe like an iPhone 6, and obviously, this is not new, they've already been open and everything. I couldn't really find too much of a difference besides things like the headphone jack, the battery is a little bit bigger, but a lot of the problems that I saw people complaining about was more specifically things like the home button, things like that, and the screen being unresponsive, and minor things like that that could possibly lead you to not even being able to use that phone. Now, I do kind of have a thing, this is kind of what my theory is. I don't think the problems are being caused by the removal of the headphone jack, even though that was super annoying. I think the problems are coming actually from the home button and the vibration motor within it. I think for that specific model of phone, the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, because they were introducing the removal of the actual older home button, I said older weird, but the older home button where it actually clicked in, and they actually substituted that for the vibration motor, I feel like somehow that actually causes some problems with the panel or anything like that, because Apple introduced the new software lock kind of thing, so you can't even replace the screen without not being able to use the home button. And that's what happened with my specific iPhone 7. So you have to go into the Apple store in order to actually replace the screen. So what I'm thinking is that quite possibly the vibration motor for the iPhone 7 for the home button and the 7 Plus is what's causing some of these problems. I'm not going to say all these problems. I'm not a technician. I don't know specifically, but that's kind of my assumption from owning an iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. And I actually owned the 7 Plus as my main phone like a couple months ago, and I had a pretty good time with it. I didn't really have too many complaints. I loved it. I mean, the headphone jack thing was kind of annoying for a couple of days, but I think it was a pretty solid phone, and I never had any issues with it. But like I said, just because I didn't have any issues with it doesn't mean nobody does. But I think the weirder thing is here is that Apple really hasn't started like a repair program for the iPhone 7 recently. They might have done it in the past. I didn't really look into it that much. But recently they haven't done it for a lot of these problems. And they just did one for the iPhone 10. They've done one for the iPhone 6s. They did one for the iPhone 8. But the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus are those phones that people complain about the most amount of problems. So I'm not really too sure what's going on there. And another thing is that Apple never really released publicly the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus sales numbers from what I know. I just know that they sold less than the 6 and 6 Plus. So it could possibly be that the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus actually sold a lot of the models, and people are still retaining them more than the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. So I'm kind of guessing that a lot of people still own the 7 and 7 Plus. So that's why more people are complaining about them, because more people have them. Nobody's going to complain about a phone that nobody has. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I just think it's weird that Apple still hasn't really acknowledged any issues with the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus recently, because most of them are hardware problems. They're not even software problems. So I guess we'll just kind of see what happens. But I'm going to try to do more research into this. I just think it's weird because I researched for maybe an hour and I could not find any information. I just kept seeing complaints and people were just complaining about it. And there's really no information online about why this is causing these specific problems. So for all my iPhone 7 and 7 Plus users out there, I apologize. Hopefully you don't have any problems. Hopefully your experience has been solid. But let me know what your experience is. Do you have any problems? Do you like owning the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus? Like I said, I liked owning the 7 Plus. I still own both of them. I think they're pretty solid phones and I really recommend them to people. But I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what your opinion on this is. If you have any problems, whatever, leave it down in the comment section below. But hit that like button, that'll mean so much. Definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel that is also linked down below. I would really appreciate if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.